Tottenham Hotspur 2, Manchester United 0.
Football predictions.
Power Rangers 0, Ipswich Town 1.
Football predictions.
Hello, it's Peter Guest, and I'm here with The Moose for another episode of the Spanish La Liga Football Predictions.net podcast, covering games from the 14th to the 17th of February 2025. And you can see all the details for the games we're about to discuss in this podcast on our website, footballpredictions.net, along with fixtures from just about every other competition in the world.
Yes, and on our website, I'll show you where to watch the games on local broadcast channels, plus video streaming services, as well as team news and match shots from local bookmakers. Look in the description of this podcast episode for direct clickable links to all of the matches we are about to discuss. If you're streaming any matches on Bet365, geolocation and live streaming rules apply. 18 plus, gamble aware.
Well, let's go with Girona, who are in 8th position in the table, versus Getafe, who are 14th. It's on Friday, the 14th of February, 8 p.m. UK time kickoff. And of course, look in the description of this podcast. You'll find links where you can see your local kickoff time, game odds, and broadcast streaming options for the match on footballpredictions.net. You can watch this game on Bet365 to qualify for the live stream. All you need is a funded account or to have placed a bet in the last 24 hours. And when you join, use that bonus code FP365. If you want to pay for a subscription, this one's also on La Liga TV Premier Sports Player as well. Well, this is a tale of two teams that, haven't had a lot Girona haven't had a lot to sing about lately.
Yeah, Girona has, of the last 6 games, only picked up 1 win, but 5 defeats. 2 in the Champions League. It meant that they actually got knocked out of the Champions League altogether. But yeah, in La Liga, it's not looking much better. 3 defeats from the last 4, although over the last 6 games, they do have 3 wins from 6. Now, this is a home game, and Girona is more of a home team. 4 wins in the last 6 at home, and the latest home win was the last home game as well. It was a 2-1 home win against Las Palmas. We did have Girona down for a win in that one. We also had Girona down for a defeat at Bilbao last weekend. And not to forget to mention that in the Champions League, we had the correct score of Arsenal when they went to visit Girona a couple of matches back, which was a 2-1 win for Arsenal. But yeah, overall, 5 defeats from 6 across all competitions. Not looking great going into this game against a Getafe side, which is doing better of late. They're actually on their sort of best streak of form. Last 5 matches, no defeats. They've got 3 wins, all away from home. So quite interesting fact there, because those 3 wins are the only 3 wins away from home all season. Before those 3 wins, they had 6 defeats and 2 draws, just picked up 2 points away from home. So yeah, it's really switched around for Getafe. But yeah, overall, they're looking fairly good on the road prior to this game against Girona. But we think it could come to an end.
Yeah, going into this game, actually, Getafe haven't been beaten in the last 3 away league matches, which is pretty impressive. But for this one, let's get down to our tip. We think it's going to be a both teams to score game. The odds you can get for that currently are 2.2. And for a full-time result prediction, though, we've gone for Girona to win as well, 1.95. So they're odds-on favourites to win already with the bookmakers too. But we think that's also going to be the case in this game. We've gone for a 2-1 victory at home for them. And the odds you can get for that correct scoreline are 9.5. And just looking at the other odds, by the way, Getafe win comes in at 4.33 and a draw 3.25. So, yeah, they're quite outpriced, really out there at Getafe for the win. So you get good odds for that. But, we think it'll be the home side that does the business in this particular game. Let's move on to Leganés, who are 17th in the table, taking on fellow cellar dwellers Alaves, who are 19th. And it kicks off on Saturday, the 15th of February at 1 p.m. in the UK, that is. And, of course, click the link in the description. You can find on footballpredictions.net your local kickoff time, odds and streaming channels. One of those is Bet365, and to qualify to watch on their live streaming, all you need is a funded account or to have placed a bet in the last 24 hours with them. Use bonus code FP365 when you sign up. If you want to pay for a subscription, you can also watch this on Premier Sports, and La Liga TV has got it as well. Leganés have hit a bit of a sticky patch.
Yeah, moving towards the bottom end of La Liga, Leganés, and in fact, this is going to be a very interesting game because there's just 2 points between Leganés in 16th and then Alaves in 19th. So down in the relegation zone, actually only 2 points between 5 teams there. So it's really, really tight. This is a game that none of these teams really can afford to lose because it's a real 6-pointer. Now, for Leganés, 1 win over the last 6 games, but that was a home win against Atletico Madrid. So that's definitely a good win for them. But they haven't really managed to follow that up. And in fact, they've not scored since that game in La Liga. They've not scored in the last 3 La Liga games. They did score 2 goals against Real Madrid last midweek in the Copa del Rey, but they did get knocked out. They lost 3-2 in that game. We had Real Madrid and both teams to score in that one. On the weekend, Leganés traveled to Valencia and kind of let them slip back into that relegation fight because Valencia is also down at the bottom in 18th with 22 points, thanks to the 3 points they picked up against Leganés. We did call that result because we said that Valencia were going to win, and we also said it was going to be under 2.5 goals, and Valencia beat Leganés 2-0 in that one. So that was a crucial defeat for Leganés because it draws them right back into that relegation fight. Now, Alaves, it's not that they are in much better shape than Leganés because they have just 1 win from their last 11 matches in the Liga. They have quite a few draws in there as well, but they have 2 defeats in a row now, and they do struggle for goals. They only scored 1. They not scored in the last 2. Only 1 goal in the last 3. They lost the last 2 games 1-0. The most recent one, 1-0 home defeat to Getafe. We said under 2.5 goals in that game, and then they lost 1-0 at Barcelona. We then had a correct score with bang on against Celta Vigo because we predicted 1-1 in that game against Celta Vigo a few match weeks back. But yeah, overall, just 1 win in 11 for Alaves, and going into this game against Leganés, they're not in the best of shape, but you can argue the same about Leganés, although they did beat Atletico within the last 6. So yeah, very, very unpredictable. Probably not it's going to be a close game, but probably not a game you want to put too much on.
Yeah, well, interesting. Just looking at the head-to-head, in the last 6 games between these two, there have been 4 draws, and Alaves have actually won the other 2. Leganés haven't won any. But the interesting thing about that is the last league fixture was in La Liga back in on match day 15, and that was in the very end of November, and the score finished 1-1, and that was at Alaves. So, it kind of looks like it might be a draw. We're going for a both teams to score prediction to be on the safe side. That's 2.2, the odds you can get for that. But we are going for a draw. And, usually draws you get odds of over 3, don't you? But this one is down at 2.9, which kind of tells you that the bookies might think it's also going to be a draw. That's our kind of our 2 there. Draw wouldn't be a bad option here, 2.9. But for a correct score of 1-1, you can only get odds of 6. 5-1 is what you can get for that. So not fantastic odds on the correct score. So you might be interested probably on either the draw or the both teams to score prediction. Just take your pick, I think, out of all of those. Next, we have got Osasuna, who are 9th, taking on the mighty Real Madrid, who are, of course, top of the league. And it's on Saturday at 3:15 UK time, 15th of Feb. And, of course, click the link in the description of this podcast and you'll find a link to this game where you can see your local kickoff time odds and streaming channels. One of those is Bet365. To qualify to watch on their streams, all you need is any funds in your account or to have placed a bet in the last 24 hours. So when you do join, use the bonus code FP365 and otherwise you can watch it on Liga TV and Premier Sports Player for a subscription based fee. Now, in the Champions League, Real Madrid had a good win, but they didn't manage to beat Atletico, did they?
No, and that makes it the first time this season in La Liga that Real Madrid has not won in 2 games in a row. Because prior to that, whenever Real has dropped points in La Liga this season, they would always come back with a win. But they didn't, because the week before that, they lost at Espanyol. They lost 1-0 at Espanyol. And that was probably a bit of a surprise to most. We had both teams to score prediction on that Atletico game, so we just came in on that one with a bare minimum of 1-1. But it has to be said, Real then went to Man City and beat them 3-2 midweek. They were 2-1 down till the very end, and then 2 late goals made them take a 3-2 lead back to the Bernabeu before the return leg against Manchester City. So they're looking good in the Champions League. But yeah, just 1 point obviously now from the last 2 games in La Liga, which means that Barcelona has made up a bit of ground. Obviously they held Atletico last weekend, so they didn't gain any points on Real in that game. Away from home this season, Real has basically scored in every single game, but they have been a bit more patchy away from home. Their away form they have 6 wins, 4 draws, and 2 defeats away from home. So they're winning 50% of their away games, dropping points quite a bit away from home. But now let's look at Osasuna, because Osasuna just 1 win in 11 games. That 1 win though did come in their last home game in the Liga against Real Sociedad. But apart from that, there's not much to celebrate from an Osasuna perspective, apart from an awful lot of draws across the last 10 games. Osasuna has drawn 7, all but 1 score draws. So Osasuna, the tight matches, the defeats to Atletico Bilbao was both with a 1-goal margin. They're very tight games that Osasuna are playing, and we believe this is going to be a tight one as well for Real.
Yeah, we think so. Do you know, it's interesting about Osasuna. On the bright side, they're unbeaten in the last couple of home league matches. Okay, they didn't play Real Madrid in those, but they haven't beaten Real Madrid in their last 19 league matches. They'll be hoping to end that run, of course, but unlikely. But they do tend to score. They've scored in every one of their last 6 matches. They've been scored against in every one of their last 6 matches, I should say. So they've shipped 8, but they've only shipped 8 goals in those 6 matches. So they do tend to concede, but they often do score. We've gone for both teams to score tip for this one. Odds there you can get of 1.67, which is slightly better than what you can get for a Real Madrid win, which is only 1.6. But we think it will be close, but we think that, as most people always do, that Real Madrid will get the win. Correct score, we've gone for 2-1 to the away side, and the odds there are 8.5 as it currently stands, and we're doing this on a Thursday afternoon. Odds for Osasuna, 5.5 for the win, 4 for the draw, and Real Madrid can be had at 1.6 at the current time. Let's move on to our next game, which is Atletico Madrid, not far behind Real, in second, taking on Celta Vigo, who are 12th in the table. It's on Saturday, 15th of Feb, 5:30 in the UK. That's the kickoff time. And of course, click the link in our description of this podcast, and it'll show you the link to footballpredictions.net with your local kickoff time odds and viewing options. You can view this one live streamed on Bet365, and to qualify for that, all you need is funds in your account or to have placed a bet in the last 24 hours. And when you join, use the bonus code FP365. Now, this game could be a good one, but it's probably going to be to the team that usually wins and not the one that usually loses.
Yeah, that is true. Atletico, though, over the last 4 games in the Liga, just picked up 1 win, but they did have a tricky visit to Real Madrid last week. Then they had that blip against Leganés, but they picked up very well since, and they haven't just been in La Liga action over the last 6 games. They've also had 2 wins in the Champions League. They beat Leverkusen at home, and then they went to Salzburg to beat them 4-1. And then last midweek, they had a cup game against Getafe, beat them comfortably 5-0. But yeah, in the Liga, we had both teams to score prediction as the main prediction in their last game at Real Madrid. We had them to beat both Getafe and Mallorca. They beat them 5-0 and 2-0. We then had them to win at Salzburg. They won 4-1. Both teams to score against Villarreal in the Liga. That ended 1-1. So yeah, we've been looking good on our predictions on Atletico. And yeah, they are bar that result against Leganés, they are in very good form at the moment. And they're meeting a Celta Vigo team here. Yes, they picked up a win last week, which was their first in 5.
Yeah.
And we had that down because we predicted Celta Vigo, despite their form, to win that game with both teams to score prediction. They won it 3-2, so solid prediction there. But yeah, before that, a defeat of strugglers Valencia. We did predict that as well. We did predict Valencia to beat Celta Vigo. We predicted Celta Vigo to draw away to Alaves, and we had it on a correct score. It ended 1-1. And then they had the defeats to Bilbao and Vallecano in the Liga, where we had both teams to score predictions, and both of them ended with 2-1 defeats. But yeah, going into this game against Atletico, I don't think that the Betis game will help them much in this particular game. Celta Vigo, away from home, has only picked up 5 points all season, just 1 win, 2 draws, and then 8 defeats.
Yep. In the last 6 between these head-to-heads I'm talking about, Atletico have won every single game. In fact, Celta Vigo haven't beaten Atletico when they played them away from home in the last 12 league games, so it's a pretty terrible run. And to combine that with the fact that Celta Vigo are without any kind of away win for the last 7 matches in the league, it's not looking very good. So, yeah, we think it's probably going to continue here. It would make sense. And we think it's going to be a bit of a whipping. We've gone for an over 2.5 goals tip for this one. You can get odds of 1.8 at the current time for that. So, yeah, but if you just want to go for the straight Atletico Madrid win, odds there are 1.42. So they're well odds-on favourites for that as well. Yeah, we've gone for a 3-0. Odds there are 9.5 at the moment. If you were brave and thought, maybe Celta Vigo will get this one, you can get odds of 8, and a draw is 4.5. But I think you'd have to be pretty brave to be thinking along those lines. Shall we move on to our summary games? Villarreal, 5th in the table, taking Valencia in 18th. It kicks off on Saturday, the 15th of Feb at 8 p.m. UK time. And you can watch this on Bet365 live stream. To qualify for that, all you need is a funded account or to have placed a bet in the last 24 hours. And when you do join, use the bonus code FP365. For this one, we think it's going to be an under 2.5 goals tip. That's what we've got for this one. But a home win for Villarreal to the tune of 2-0.
Yeah, moving on to Espanyol in 16th, who takes on Athletic Bilbao in 4th. This game takes place on Sunday, 16th of February, 1 o'clock UK time. Now, this is another game that where if you go to football predictions, you'll check the local kickoff times, betting odds, and broadcast and streaming options available in your area. One of them being Bet365. In order to qualify for the streaming there, all you need is to have a funded account or to have placed a bet in the last 24 hours. Sign up with our bonus code FP365. Now for this game, we are going with a narrow away win. So a Bilbao win under 2.5 goals and a correct score 1-0 Bilbao.
Next up, it's Real Valladolid, who are last in the table, and they're taking on Sevilla in 13th. It's on Sunday the 16th of Feb. It's on at 3:15 in the afternoon. That's UK time. And this one you can stream on Bet365. To qualify for that, all you need is a funded account or to have placed a bet in the last 24 hours. Use bonus code FP365 on sign up. Well, it could be a one-sided affair, but we think it'll actually be a closer one than most people think. We've gone for an under 2.5 goals game for this one, which means we think it's going to be a Sevilla win, and we think it's going to be Valladolid 0, Sevilla 1.
Yeah, moving on to Mallorca in 10th, who takes on Las Palmas in 15th. This game kicks off at 5:30 UK time on Sunday, 16th of February. Now, again, go to footballpredictions.net, which will provide you with your local kickoff time, betting odds, and available viewing options, including streaming. And talking about streaming, of course, Bet365 has got it. And in order to qualify for it, all you need is a funded account, also place the bet in the last 24 hours. And please, if you do sign up, use that bonus code FP365. Now, these are two teams hopelessly out of form, and we are going to go with a both teams to score prediction, a Mallorca home win, and a correct score 2-1 Mallorca.
Yeah, moving on, we've got Real Betis, who are 11th, taking on Real Sociedad in 7th in the table in La Liga. And it's on Sunday at 8 p.m, the 16th of February. That's UK time. You can stream it on Bet365 to qualify for that. All you need is a funded account or to have placed a bet with them in the last 24 hours. And when you join, use that bonus code FP365. Yeah, this one could be a good match, I think, to watch. And we're going for both teams to score. We think that's likely here. And a win for the home side. We've gone for Real Betis 2, Real Sociedad 1.
Yeah, moving on to the final game of this match week, which is on Monday, 17th of February at 8 o'clock UK time. And this is Barcelona in 3rd, who takes on Rayo Vallecano in 6th. Again, check footballpredictions.net, and on there you'll find your local kickoff time, match odds, team news, and available broadcast and streaming channels for this game. Now, one of those is Bet365, and in order to qualify, all you need to do is to have a funded account or place the bet in the last 24 hours. Use bonus code FP365 if you are in the UK. By the way, this game is also on ITV4. Now, for this game, we're going, unsurprisingly, with a home win of 3-1 Barcelona. So that's a home win, both teams to score, and a correct score 3-1.
Yeah, and for those Bet365 streamers, don't forget that geolocation and live streaming rules apply, and full details are available on the Bet365 website. 18 plus, gamble aware.
Yeah, and in the description section of this podcast, you'll find links to the fixtures we've just been discussing, or just go directly to footballpredictions.net. Once there, you can browse the online places to see the games from your location-wise streaming and TV channels, our predictions for different betting markets, team news, as well as the latest offers and odds.
And just in case you weren't aware, we do record football podcasts for a number of different competitions, as well as La Liga, and you can hear them all at podcast.footballpredictions.net, or, of course, where you usually download your podcasts from, like Apple, YouTube, and Spotify. Well, that is it. Thank you for joining us. Until the next time, it is
Adios.
Adios, amigo.
Football predictions.